Welcome back to the Spectre Creative Channel. I'm your host, Toy Guru Neitlich, and I'm following up this video, following up last week's video, talking a little bit more about what's going on with MOTU Origins at retail. If you've been to Target recently, you may have seen the Rise of Evil pack has now gone from harbinger of doom for the entire toy industry to a pegwarmer. They have so many units, they can't sell them fast enough or at all. So, what in the world is going on? And last week I talked a lot about Origins showing up at the Mattel Toy Store, which is open to the public, but it's only, it's not like it has national locations. They're just at their headquarters in East Aurora and El Segundo. And in no way am I being a cheerleader for Mattel, the toy industry. It's not about that at all. I'm just here to provide information and try to clarify misconceptions. That's a big part about why I started this channel. I want nothing more than for Origins to succeed, for all He-Man toy product and entertainment to succeed. The more He-Man out there, the better. I want a new generation playing with these toys. It's why, I headed up making classics, was to keep it going. And while that was an adult collector line, Origins is sold at retail, and there's been a lot of frustration with it not being found at retail. And when I shared these images last week of lots of Origins product, and especially sort of the most recent waves that haven't been showing up at mass retail, showing up at the Mattel Toy Store in El Segundo and East Aurora, New York, I didn't want to come across as being negative. And when I say the line has peaked, it's not that it's peaked out with collector interest, it's a shift in our mindset about how we see the line.
Marty, it's perfect. You're just not thinking fourth dimensionally.
Right. I have a real problem with that.
Don't you?
So what I mean by that is, obviously, as an adult collector, we're very vested in Origins. And this pack, the Rise of Evil pack, has been labeled and talked about online by many fans as a pack that is so hard to find that the whole adult toy collector industry is going to fall apart. And these are multiple targets I'm showing here in all these pictures. I mean, the pack is absolutely peg-warming at this point. So with that, I want to try to kind of reframe the argument, because I want Origins to succeed, but what frustrates me is when sometimes information is put out there that causes adult collectors to have a misunderstanding of how product gets shipped. So yes, Origins has a lot of potential as far as character selection, as far as play sets. I mean, come on, we all want an Origin Crystal Falls, right? It's not that as collectors there is a lack of interest in the line or a lack of characters left to do. We would collect Origins, we would want every figure ever in Origins. It's a retail peak. When I said the line has peaked, it's not that it's peaked with adult collectors. What I was saying is it's peaked with retailers. So much like the 2000X line, Origins is at retail. When a toy line is at retail, it has to be kid first, meaning collectors are great. It's wonderful if the collectors are going to pick up the line, and sometimes you'll get toys produced for collectors in a retail line, but they're the ones that are sold either at conventions, like this Keldor Birth of Skeletor figure, or online. All the products that is at retail, even the exclusive product like the Rise of Evil 2-pack, have to be aimed at kids first. The only product that is truly aimed at the adult collector is either convention product or product that's on that back wall behind electronics. If it's not sold in stores, it's for an adult collector. If it's at retail, it's for kids, or rather gift givers, if you will, as the gatekeepers of kids getting product. And that's every aisle, even the action figure aisle. So when I say that MOTU Origins has peaked, I don't at all mean it's peaked in terms of lack of collector interest or in terms of running out of characters to do. Of course, we all want Snout, Spout, and, every possible character ever done in Origins. But unless it's sold in this back wall behind electronics, it has to keep up with a certain velocity. Retail requires toys sold in aisle to do a certain number of units in order to justify the space. And when Origins shows up at the Mattel toy store, it means that retailers have backed off on orders. It doesn't mean that collectors aren't interested. Of course we'd like to see King Randor, or we'd like to see, characters from the She-Ra Princess of Power world on Etheria made into Origins form factor. Yes, there is of course collector interest. And we all want bearded He-Man. I mean, who doesn't want lumberjack bearded He-Man in Origins? It would be a great way to refresh him with just a new head. And of course, it would be awesome to get the Grimace all grown up in Origins. It's not a lack of collector interest. It is retail interest that has peaked. When I say that the line may have peaked out, a line like Classics, MOTU Classics, bypassed retail. It wasn't dependent on the whim of retailers or the success of product in aisle. It was able to sell through based on collector interest alone and collector pre-orders. We showed product at conventions, collectors would buy a year's worth of product, and we could make a year's worth of product. It was a great system, and it allowed us to go so deep in the character selection. When you're sold at retail, you are essentially at the mercy of retail and the requirements they have for the number of sales they have to do per peg per week. And again, that back aisle behind electronics is handled differently. It doesn't have as high of a requirement of a velocity. When you're at retail, you run into danger of retail delisting a line because it's not doing as well. And 80% plus of sales at retail are to children. Children are the main consumer of toys, or rather, again, gift givers, the ones buying the toys for children. So with Origins peaking, when I say it's peaking, it's not because it's not designed for collectors, is really the end of the day. It's designed for kids. Collectors are gravy. It's awesome that we're also into it. But if retail isn't seeing the sales they want, even if we want to buy the product and give retailers the money, that's not, it's a black and white. Toys have to earn their keep to stay in the retail aisle. And it's been difficult for Origins to do this, not because of distribution issues. It's because of really less kid interest than they need. He-Man and Skeletor are easy to find. They're the two characters kids should be buying the most. All right, so then the other question is, well, can't we just shift sales online to things like Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store? Sure, certainly they focus on the adult collector. They would be a great retailer to partner with. The problem is that Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth don't do enough volume to justify it. So let's say Entertainment Earth is the yellow and Big Bad Toy Store the green, and Target and Walmart are the orange. You need all of them together to hit the MOQ. Only Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth, they would only represent maybe less than half of the minimum order quantity to go into production. It's why you need the giant order from big box retail. Walmart, Target, big box, they are kind of the saviors of a lot of toy lines. Their ordering capability is what brings lines and helps sustain them. Collectors alone are not enough. And it's very rare to have a line like Classics or something like that. I mean, you need the whole infrastructure of Matty Collector, which doesn't exist anymore, in order to support such a deep character selection. So when I say the line has peaked, it's not that it's peaked with collectors or peaked as far as character selection or availability. It's that it's peaked as far as retailer interest and kid interest, which trump 100% collector interest when you're talking about a line at mass retail. And the fact that, the Rise of Evil 2-pack is now peg warming, well, it kind of shows you exactly what kid interest is. All right, I hope this video clarified. If you have any more questions, do leave them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to comment back. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.